Can I ask you something personal? Have you ever sat at your kitchen table, looked down at that little packet of sugar-free sweetener, and thought you were making the safe choice? I've been a neurologist for over 30 years, and I can tell you what feels safe is not always what protects your brain and heart. Every day I see seniors who try to do the right thing. They cut back on sugar, and they switch to low-calorie substitutes. But later they came to me with memory lapses, dizziness, or warning signs of stroke. And when we traced it back, one of the hidden culprits was the sweetener they trusted. Recent findings, shared at the American Physiology Summit, showed that erythritol, one of the most popular sugar alcohols, might increase oxidative stress in brain cells and reduce nitric oxide, the very compound that keeps blood vessels flexible. The Washington Post reported that Americans consume thousands of pounds of sugar alcohols each year, often without realizing it. For the brain and the heart, that is no small matter. Now, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here in giving you hope because protecting your brain health can begin with one small change, starting at breakfast tomorrow. Do you see yourself in this story? If you've ever trusted sugar-free foods, type 1 in the comments. If you've avoided them, type 0. I want to hear your voice because this channel is about companionship, not lectures. Together, we'll explore the truth and build habits that keep your brain sharp and your heart strong. Number 1, understanding erythritol and why seniors trust it. For many older Americans, making the switch from sugar to low-calorie sweeteners feels like a victory. It is often seen as a way to lower blood sugar, cut calories, and protect against diabetes. Erythritol, one of the most popular substitutes, shows up in candies, baked goods, protein bars, and even so-called diabetic-friendly snacks. On the surface, it seems harmless. After all, it comes from a natural process, and even small amounts are found in fruits like grapes and pears. But here is the truth that often goes unnoticed. The amount of erythritol in processed foods is far higher than what you would ever find in nature. Registered dietitians from the New York Times have explained that the concentration in packaged products is often 1,000 times greater than the levels naturally occurring in food. That means a single cookie or a few pieces of candy can deliver more erythritol than your body would ever expect to handle. Why does this matter for seniors? After the age of 60, the body is less forgiving. Blood vessels lose some of their flexibility. The brain is more sensitive to changes in blood flow. Even small increases in oxidative stress or clotting tendencies can have serious consequences, like memory loss, dizziness, or stroke. Choosing a sweetener without realizing the hidden load can become a silent risk. This is not to create fear, but to bring awareness. Most of my patients truly believed they were making the safer choice. They wanted to protect their health, and yet the very foods they trusted might have been stressing their brains and hearts. That is why education matters. When we know what is hidden behind the label, we can make wiser decisions. Let me ask you, have you ever replaced sugar with a packet of safe sweetener and felt relieved? Do you still believe it was always the healthier option? Share your story in the comments. Your voice matters, and together we can learn how to protect the health that keeps us living independently with clarity and strength every single day. Number 2, what science reveals about erythritol in the brain. When I look back on 3 decades of treating patients, one truth keeps repeating itself. The brain is not only sensitive, it is protective. It reacts strongly to what enters the bloodstream. That is why recent studies on erythritol deserve our full attention. At the 2025 American Physiology Summit, researchers presented data that surprised many of us in the medical community. They found that when human brain cells were exposed to erythritol, 2 critical things happened. First, the cells showed higher levels of oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as tiny sparks slowly wearing down the wiring in your brain. Over time, those sparks contribute to chronic conditions such as heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, and even some cancers. Second, the cells produce less nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the natural messenger that tells blood vessels to widen, allowing blood to flow freely. Without enough of it, vessels stiffen, and the risk of stroke or heart attack increases. Now, it is important to be honest. These results came from short-term lab tests, not from long-term studies in living people. The researchers themselves, including a graduate scientist from the University of Colorado Boulder, emphasized this limitation. They only studied one concentration of erythritol for only 3 hours. That means we do not yet know what happens after years of daily exposure. Still, the levels they tested were very similar to what we see in real-life diets of Americans eating sugar-free products. That makes the findings too important to ignore. Other research backs this up. A Cleveland Clinic study showed that people with higher blood levels of erythritol were more likely to have heart attacks or strokes within 3 years. Another follow-up study revealed that erythritol may make platelets, the blood cells that help with clotting, more active. In plain language, it means a higher chance of dangerous clots forming. For seniors, the concern is not about one dessert or one drink. It is about repeated daily exposure. That small habit of choosing sugar-free candies or diet desserts can slowly build a risk you never expected. Let me ask you, do you check labels carefully when buying foods marketed as diabetic-friendly or sugar-free? Or have you trusted the packaging without thinking twice? Share your experience below. Your story might help another senior avoid hidden dangers and make safer choices. Number 3, why seniors face greater risks with sweeteners. As we move past the age of 60, the body changes in ways that make us more vulnerable to hidden dangers. Our blood vessels, once flexible like young tree branches, begin to stiffen. The brain, which relies on steady blood flow, becomes more sensitive to even small disruptions. Muscles, too, lose some of their reserve strength. This combination creates what I call a triple vulnerability for seniors. And it is in this stage of life that sweeteners like erythritol can quietly add stress. Many of my patients believe that by replacing sugar with low-calorie substitutes, they were protecting their health. And in some ways, they were right. Erythritol does not raise blood sugar the way table sugar does. But what they did not realize was that avoiding one problem may have opened the door to another. By increasing oxidative stress and reducing nitric oxide, erythritol might amplify the very weaknesses that come with aging: restricted circulation, fragile memory, and higher stroke risk. Imagine this: a man in his late 60s, already dealing with mild hypertension, begins eating sugar-free candies every evening. Each piece feels safe because it does not spike his blood sugar. But day after day, his vessels are under a little more oxidative pressure, his nitric oxide levels a little lower. He may not notice anything in the short term, but over months or years, this steady strain could make a sudden event, like a mini stroke or heart attack, more likely. This is why I always remind my patients, the brain and the heart do not just care about blood sugar numbers. They care about blood flow, about flexibility of the vessels, about balance in the whole system. It is easy to get caught up in one number on a lab test while missing the broader picture of health. Let me turn the question to you. Have you ever focused so much on your blood sugar or cholesterol that you overlook the smaller habits, like the sweetener in your coffee or the sugar-free snack in your pantry? Sometimes the details we dismiss are the very ones that shape our future health. Share your reflections below because your insight can inspire someone else to rethink their daily choices. Number 4, the hidden mistakes seniors make with sugar-free choices. Over the years, I have noticed a pattern among my patients. Many seniors make the same well-intentioned mistakes when it comes to sweeteners. The first mistake is believing that sugar-free always means healthy. Food companies are skilled at marketing. They put labels on cookies, sodas, and candies that sound safe: diabetic-friendly, zero sugar, low calorie. But what they rarely highlight is that these products often contain concentrated sugar alcohols like erythritol in amounts far beyond what the body can process naturally. The second mistake is ignoring the small print on the label. I often ask my patients, do you know how many grams of erythritol are in the snacks you eat each week? Most of the time, the answer is no. Unlike salt or fat, which we are taught to track, sugar alcohols slip under the radar. Yet studies have shown that consuming high levels every day may quietly increase stress on the brain and blood vessels. The third mistake is thinking short-term instead of long-term. A cookie today or a diet soda tomorrow does not seem harmful, but repeated daily exposure over months or years is where the danger lies. The brain does not sound an alarm right away. Instead, small changes build up silently, until they show up as dizziness, memory trouble, or worse, a sudden stroke. Now let me pause and ask you, have you ever caught yourself choosing a sugar-free option just to feel less guilty without really knowing what was inside? Or maybe you believe that because your doctor said to cut sugar, any substitute must be safe. Share your story in the comments. Was there a moment when you realized a choice you thought was protecting might have been hurting you instead? I ask not to blame, but to connect. You are not alone in this. Every senior I have treated has made choices with the best intentions. What matters now is awareness. When we learn together, we can avoid the hidden traps that food companies never warn us about. And more importantly, we can take back control of our health in a way that feels empowering, not frightening. Number 5, oxidative stress and nitric oxide, the silent enemies. When we talk about brain health, two invisible forces play a major role in how well we age: oxidative stress and nitric oxide. These are not terms most people use in daily conversation, but they affect every heartbeat and every memory we hold. Oxidative stress is like rust forming on the inside of your body. Just as metal corrodes when exposed to oxygen and water, our cells can be damaged when there are too many free radicals and not enough antioxidants to protect us. Over time, this silent wear and tear can lead to memory loss, stiff arteries, and weakened muscles. For seniors who already face a natural rise in oxidative stress with age, adding more strain from certain sweeteners only adds fuel to the fire. Now let's look at nitric oxide. Think of it as the body's traffic signal system for blood flow. It tells blood vessels when to open up and let circulation flow smoothly. Without enough nitric oxide, those vessels stay tight and rigid. This makes it harder for oxygen to reach the brain and the heart. The result? Higher risk of stroke, heart attack, and the very muscle weakness that leaves so many seniors unable to climb stairs or get up from a chair without help. Research presented in 2025 showed that erythritol reduced the production of nitric oxide in brain cells. In simple terms, the sweetener slowed down the very signal that keeps blood flowing. When combined with aging, high blood pressure, or diabetes, this creates the perfect storm for serious health problems. I want you to reflect for a moment. Have you ever noticed times when you felt more short of breath during your daily walk, or when your legs felt heavier than usual? Did you dismiss it as just getting older? These could be early signs that your circulation is not as strong as it should be. Write in the comments if you have experienced this. Sharing your story may remind someone else to pay attention to their warning signs. The good news is that awareness gives us power. By understanding oxidative stress and nitric oxide, you now hold two keys to protecting your brain and your heart. And as we move forward, I will show you how small daily choices can restore balance and give your body the support it needs to stay strong. Number 6, safer alternatives and practical daily choices. One of the questions I hear most often from my patients is this: Doctor, if erythritol and other sugar substitutes are risky, what can I use instead? The answer is not about finding a perfect sweetener. It is about creating balance and making thoughtful choices that protect your brain, heart, and muscles. The first alternative is natural flavoring. Instead of reaching for a packet of sugar-free sweetener, try adding cinnamon to your coffee or oatmeal. Cinnamon not only brings sweetness, but may also help gently regulate blood sugar. A sprinkle of nutmeg or a drop of vanilla can also transform the taste without stressing your body. The second option is whole fruit. When you eat an apple, a pear, or a handful of blueberries, you are not just getting natural sweetness. You are also receiving fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants that fight oxidative stress. That is something no processed sweetener can offer. I often tell my patients, one orange is far better for your brain than a sugar-free cookie because the orange feeds your cells with protective compounds. The third choice is mindful moderation. It is not about removing sweetness entirely. It is about reducing hidden sources. Many seniors get used to diet sodas or sugar-free candies as part of their routine. Breaking that habit may feel hard at first, but taste buds can adjust within a few weeks. After 30 days, foods with less sweetness can feel just as satisfying. Finally, remember hydration. Drinking enough water each day keeps circulation healthy and supports nitric oxide production naturally. A glass of water with lemon is often more refreshing than a diet soda, and it helps your body function at its best. Now let me ask you, have you found a natural substitute that works for you? Maybe you switched from diet drinks to sparkling water with fruit slices. Maybe you discovered that tea with honey satisfies you more than artificial sweeteners ever did. Share your tip in the comments, because your small discovery could inspire another senior to make a healthier choice. The truth is, protecting your health does not mean giving up joy. It means choosing the kind of sweetness that nourishes, not weakens, the body you have worked so hard to carry into these precious years. Number 7, lessons from 30 years in practice. Real patience, real outcomes. In more than 3 decades of practice, I have learned that numbers and research are important, but nothing speaks louder than the lives of real people. Every patient's story is a window into how daily habits shape long-term health. I remember a woman in her early 70s who came to see me for memory lapses. She was active, she walked every morning, and she rarely ate sweets. What surprised me was that she proudly told me she had been sugar-free for almost 15 years. Her kitchen shelves were lined with diet sodas, sugar-free candies, and protein bars. On paper, it looked like she was doing the right thing. But when we looked deeper, the pattern of her daily exposure to erythritol was clear. Over the years, her brain had been living under quiet stress. We worked together to replace those products with whole fruits and natural flavors, and slowly her energy and clarity improved. Another patient, a retired teacher in his mid-60s, came in with muscle weakness and high blood pressure. He had relied on sugar substitutes because his doctor once warned him about diabetes. The problem was, he replaced sugar with daily servings of processed, diabetic-friendly snacks. When he cut back and returned to simple foods, oatmeal with cinnamon, tea with a spoonful of honey, fruit instead of cookies, his blood flow markers improved. More importantly, he felt strong enough to get back to gardening, something he thought he had lost forever. What these stories show is not failure, but hope. Each person made choices with the best intentions. When they understood the hidden risks, they made small changes, and the results were powerful. I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a turning point when you realized a small daily habit was working against you? Did you find the courage to change it? And if so, how did it affect your health or your peace of mind? Share that story in the comments. Your words could be the very encouragement another senior needs today. The lesson from 30 years of patient care is simple. It is never too late. Even after decades of certain habits, the body has an incredible capacity to heal when given the right support. And that truth should give every one of us hope. Number 8, building daily routines that protect the brain and heart. Science can give us warnings, but it is our daily habits that decide whether we grow weaker or stronger as we age. After 30 years of treating seniors, I have seen one truth again and again. The small things you do every morning and every evening shape the future of your brain and your heart. Let us start with mornings. The first hour of your day sets the rhythm for your circulation and memory. A breakfast of whole grains with fruit or oatmeal with a sprinkle of cinnamon gives your body natural sweetness without hidden risks. Drinking a glass of water before coffee helps your blood vessels open and keeps nitric oxide levels steady. Adding 10 minutes of gentle stretching or a short walk around the block wakes up your muscles and improves oxygen flow to the brain. Think of it as charging your battery for the day ahead. Evenings matter just as much. Too many seniors snack on sugar-free cookies or diet sodas late at night, thinking they are harmless. But these habits not only expose the brain to unnecessary stress, they also interfere with sleep. Good sleep is when your body repairs oxidative damage. Making a routine of shutting down screens early, sipping warm herbal tea, and going to bed at the same time each night protects both memory and circulation. Exercise is another cornerstone. You do not need to run miles. Simple, steady routines like walking, climbing stairs, or light resistance training with small weights can improve nitric oxide production and keep vessels flexible. I often remind my patients, the best exercise is the one you can do consistently. Now let me ask you, do you already have a routine that makes you feel sharper or stronger? Maybe it is a morning walk, or an evening cup of tea, or reading before bed instead of watching television. Share it in the comments. Your small routine could be the very idea another person needs to protect their brain and heart. The truth is, your body responds to rhythm. When you build healthy routines, your brain feels safer, your heart beats steadier, and your muscles carry you with more strength. Every day becomes an opportunity to live with clarity, independence, and hope. Number 9, the power of awareness and community. One of the greatest lessons I have learned after years of caring for seniors is that health is never a journey taken alone. We heal best when we share knowledge, when we remind one another of dangers, and when we support each other in making better choices. Awareness by itself can save lives, but awareness combined with community becomes a powerful shield against decline. Too often, my patients tell me they kept silent about their struggles. A woman once admitted she felt embarrassed to mention her constant dizziness because she thought it was just part of getting older. After finally opening up in a support group, she discovered many others were experiencing the same symptoms, and that some were linked to hidden sweeteners in their diets. By sharing her story, she not only found relief, but also gave courage to others to look at their habits. This is why I encourage you right now to use the comment section below as more than just a box on a screen. Think of it as a community circle. If you have tried to cut back on sugar substitutes, or if you discovered a small change that brought back your energy, write about it. Your wisdom may be exactly what another person, perhaps sitting alone and worried tonight, needs to hear. Awareness also means teaching the next generation. When grandchildren watch us choose fruit instead of processed sweets, or see us walking after dinner, they learn that health is built from small, consistent actions. Seniors are not only protecting their brains and hearts, they are shaping the future of their families. So let me ask you, who in your life could benefit from hearing this message? A neighbor, a friend at church, or maybe your children? Share this video with them. Invite them to join this conversation, because when knowledge spreads, hope multiplies. The truth is, every senior has the chance to become a role model. By being aware and by connecting, you become a living example of resilience and wisdom. And together as a community, we can protect our brains, guard our hearts, and inspire others to live not just longer, but better. As we reach the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with one central truth. Your brain and your heart are not fragile. They are resilient, wise, and responsive to the care you give them. Erythritol and other hidden sweeteners may place stress on your system, but that does not mean the future is fixed. It means that with knowledge, you have the power to choose differently, starting today. I have spent over 30 years listening to the stories of seniors who feared decline. They worried about losing their memory, their independence, or the ability to enjoy the simple things, walking, reading, cooking for loved ones. What I have seen time and again is that change is possible at any age. When patients made small shifts, choosing whole foods instead of processed snacks, walking after meals, drinking more water, their energy returned, their clarity sharpened, and their confidence grew. You may be thinking, is it too late for me? Let me assure you, it is never too late. The human brain has an extraordinary ability to adapt. The heart can regain strength, the muscles can recover tone, and the mind can regain focus. Every small choice you make, whether it is putting down a can of diet soda or picking up a bowl of fresh fruit, is a vote for your future health. And those votes add up day after day into a life lived with dignity and vitality. I also want to encourage you not to walk this path alone. Share your experiences in the comments. Tell us if you have already tried reducing sweeteners or if you are just beginning. Your words may comfort another person who feels uncertain. In this community, your story is medicine. So here is my gentle call to action. Protect your brain before it needs saving. Choose habits that strengthen, not weaken. Believe that your body, even at 60, 70, or 80 years old, is capable of healing. And remember, you are never too old to reclaim health and joy. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to continue the journey with us. Watch my next video, These 2 Foods to Your Diet to Fight Alzheimer's. In it, I reveal 2 simple foods you can begin eating tomorrow that may protect your memory and reduce your risk of Alzheimer's disease. Take a moment after watching today's video to reflect. How do you feel about your current habits? What small change are you willing to make for your brain and heart? Share your thoughts below. Your reflection is not just for you, it is for everyone who reads it and finds hope in your courage. Together, we can build lives that are not only longer, but brighter, sharper, and full of meaning.